So Mr. Riggs bought the land in February of 2011 for $900,000, and he's asking $1.5 million. There's 4.5 million board feet on the land. And that half a section is on a ridge that lies in the middle, in the heart of Williams. It's between the West Fork and the East Fork creeks.
There's 3 headwater regions that either start on this land or just right below. So, where the water is actually pooling up out of the earth and then becomes a small stream and then combines with other streams. So it's a spot where clean water is made out of the earth, if you will.
What happens when you clear cut? Essentially, you destroy the microorganisms in the soil, and the trees that are no longer there, their roots are not holding water. So the potential is that those streams will dry up.
And on private forest land, there's no regulations regarding using herbicides, and that's fairly standard practice, is to come in, cut all the trees, and then use herbicides to control the regrowth of the hardwoods, oaks, the madrones, manzanita, to basically turn it into a tree farm of conifers. So what we've seen is typically aerial herbicide spraying following a clear cut, and then they go back in by hand and actually inject the hardwoods with herbicides to stop the regrowth. That's pretty much how private forest land is managed throughout the Pacific Northwest. And just on the West Fork of Williams up Caves Camp, we've watched that happen on 120 acres, and it continues to be a source of erosion. Herbicide drift through the air, through spraying, and also, of course, through the water. All these things are mobile.
The community of Williams consists of people from all different ways of life. There's loggers and miners and organic farmers and people who have retired here.
As part of our certified organic requirements by the USDA, we're required to provide proof of testing for water quality to ensure, particularly when we're washing produce, that we're not using water that's been contaminated. Well, what you're doing actually directly affects not only my health and my family's health. I have 2 children, 2 boys that are 5 and 9, that are born and raised on the farm. But it affects our ability to just do business, to maintain a sustainable livelihood there. I know the herb farm is a large medicinal herb farm locally that farms about 40 acres of medicinal herbs and markets them nationally. They're directly downstream from this one tract that's on the ridge here that is slated to be clear cut.
People come here to have babies. The midwifery business is booming in Little Williams, and a lot of those babies are born into water and are doing water births, and because we have such good clean water here. Think about our children, their future. We need water to survive, we all do, rich and poor.
Our kids are talking to us right now, and they're saying, hey, could you please stop this? This is freaking us out. My little 6-year-old, it breaks her heart to reflect on how people can just cut down mass amounts of trees. And you look at the mountains, well, they don't recover in Southern Oregon. They turn into sand. The sun bakes them in the summer, and the winter rains come and wash them away.
I have 2 girls, 16 and 14, and a little boy who's almost 12. My kids really care about the forests, and they really care about the trees. And when they found out about this particular piece that we're working on right now with the Williams Community Forest Project, the Williams 320, the morning that we found out about that, they were all crying.
The trees make you breathe, and if you couldn't have the trees, then you couldn't survive.
There's a bunch of plants and animals that rely on the ecosystem in that forest for their home.
It's definitely a wildlife corridor. There's been Pacific fishers seen there, and then it has all kinds of other animals like the deer and the cougar and bobcats, and a red tree vole, which is considered it's not an endangered species, but it's a species of concern. And the Williams Creek has coho salmon in it, and so it's really an important stream for the life of those salmon.
You know, we're not totally against harvesting trees. We just want to see it done in a sustainable way.
So we decided that we needed to develop a model for ecological forest management. We formed an organization, the Williams Community Forest Project, to actually address the issues of clear cutting and forest management that was essentially destroying our forest. So the Williams Community Forest Project is about developing a community forest that can sustain the community economically and at the same time sustain the forest.
If we had that piece of land, we could conceivably have a land base to work on that would give us a sustainable flow of wood products and other products that we could work with, while providing a really beautiful natural laboratory for us to explore strategies of forest restoration and enhancing ecosystem health and diversity, while still having a relationship to the human economy that's balanced and of a scale that is sustainable for the long run. There's a need around here for employment. The timber industry as a whole has taken a lot of hits for a lot of reasons. The housing market is slow, people aren't building houses, and there's a lot of people out of work for a lot of various reasons around here in rural Oregon. And it would be great if we could start doing something that would, in some small way, start to contribute to building local employment in a way that would keep more money in our communities, instead of having us be residents of what's a resource extraction colony. As we can see now, the timber industry doesn't look so good. It's the victim of large forces, global forces beyond the control of local people. And so we can do however well we want as far as managing lands on that industrial model. But when the markets change and the one product you're getting out of there, construction lumber, is no longer in demand, the jobs go away. And then there's no money left for restoration, there's no money left for managing the road network, there's no money left for protecting rural communities from wildfire, because it's all centered around this one model of commercial timber production.
We want to buy this and do this whole, ecological information, resource, fire restoration park, if you will, to highlight to other watersheds and communities a way that you can broker a solution with a private landowner to come up with an idea that possibly they may even be able to be involved in. A lot of these loggers, they have all the tools and techniques. Hey, well, let's work together. You're a lot better at moving biomass around than I am. But here we have an ecological understanding from a science basis and a community basis that might be able to develop forest practices that are more in accordance with the way the community is functioning.
This is our big challenge. Can we make the land payments? Can we get this piece of land? Can we pay for it somehow? If we can, it opens up huge opportunities for us, and I think is just an empowering thing for local communities, where other people might see, wow, look at what they're doing in Williams. They've created a whole way to educate some of the young people, create jobs there, preserve some of the local land base. Please don't log that land. Please give us a chance to buy this land and do something different with it. There's too much land that's been degraded like this, and too little that people are trying to do something new and creative with.
The community is behind the community forest and wanting to raise the money to buy that.
These trees are very old and they don't need to be cut down. They give us good growth.
How are our children going to live without water?
What about
Our future.